Thank you, Rory. Welcome.
Hey, good evening, everybody. My name's Rory Crofton, and I'm coming to you live from Cimarron, New Mexico. Not Philmont itself, just down the road. I am the Villa Philmonte Curator out here at Philmont. So I work in the museums department, specifically overseeing the wonderful historic Villa Philmonte here on the property. First and foremost, just want to thank you, Jeff, and everyone else here for having me this evening. I'm super excited to be able to this and to share a little bit of an update on the Philmont museums, specifically the Villa Philmonte, but we'll talk a little bit about what's happening at a few of the museums here at Philmont. And I'll just start off by saying, there are so many things to love about Philmont. The thing that I just love the most is the history of this special place, all of the amazing people and cultures and things that have happened here over the course of hundreds of years. And so working in the museum department, I just have the super exciting job of getting to share that with everybody who comes out to visit us here on the ranch. And I hope any viewing this will take the opportunity to do that when you're out here on or participating in DC programs, anything else that you're doing here on the ranch. There's so much to see, so much to learn, and you can do it. The great thing is you can do it any season that you're here on the ranch, whether it's the bustling craziness of summer or kind of quiet off season here in the winter as well. So to kind of start, I'll just highlight a couple things that are going on at the National Scouting Museum. That's of course kind of our crown jewel here in the museum department on the ranch. Maybe you probably know the National Scouting Museum here in 2018. And ever since, it's kind of been a tough, exciting development of exhibits and programming and things like that happening there. Just last year, we redid the entire gallery, the Scouting Heritage Gallery, Scouting History Gallery, at the National Scouting Museum. And over the course of the last several months, we've been working on continuing that progress, that update on the Philmont and New Mexico History Gallery as well. And so even if you visit the National Scouting Museum this summer, the next time you're out here, I would definitely encourage you to swing by that museum, check that out, because it's going to be I'm not going to say completely different. The Scouting Heritage Gallery will be, but certainly those back galleries, there's going to be a whole new variety of things to check out, and that'll just keep changing. So definitely swing by and check that out. That museum is open year round, so no matter when you're here, come by and see that. One of our other museums that often kind of gets overlooked, though, that I'll throw out is the Kit Carson Museum down at Rayado. That is one of our season museums. That's only open in the summer, unfortunately. So if you're staffed down there in period clothing, 1840s clothing, reenacting cooking and blacksmithing and all kinds of other things that are relevant to that sort of period on the Santa Fe Trail. We have live animals down there, all kinds of cool stuff. We're still kind of working out specific plans for programming for this summer, but that's always a favorite and always worth checking out if you have the ability to get down there either before or after your trek. The main reason I'm here tonight, of course, is to talk about the Villa Philmonte. All of our museums are special, but the Villa Philmonte, of course, has an especially special place in my heart, since I'm the curator over there. And so for anyone who doesn't know, the Villa Philmonte, of course, is the 1927 vacation home of Waite and Genevieve Phillips, who, as you might have guessed from the name, are the benefactors of Philmont Scout Ranch. The two of them donated almost 150,000 acres of land to us, to the Scouts, to create this wonderful place that we know as Philmont Scout Ranch today. So the villa really has the unique task of preserving and interpreting the incredible story of Waite and Genevieve and their family, not just their life before coming out to Philmont, but also the incredible story and legacy that they left in the donation of all of this land and support to the Scouts to create Philmont Scout Ranch. And so we, of course, offer tours throughout the year. Our biggest season, of course, is in the summer. We offer upwards of 16 tours a day in the summer. So plenty of opportunity for people to come through and check us out. The best way to go about coming through on a visit is to contact the National Scouting Museum, and you can find their contact information. I think we have the website up here, philmontscoutraranch.org/museums, and that'll have all the contact information, emails, phone numbers. We're not officially taking tours quite yet. We know we usually have some beavers that want to schedule tours all the way in December. But certainly in the new year, give us a call and we'd be happy to get you scheduled in there. Usually tours last about an hour. They show you all 3 floors of the house, and we take you through the entire sort of history of the building and its construction, all of the fantastic artifacts, furnishings that are inside there. But we also get to talk to you, as I say, about biographies of each of the Phillips family members, their life growing in Iowa, moving down to Oklahoma, getting into the oil business, purchasing all of the land with their fortune here in New Mexico, and then, of course, eventually turning around and giving that away to the Scouts for all of our youth programs and adult programs that we still do today. So lots to see and learn. I think the thing that I would just kind of emphasize is that, oftentimes people, when they think of coming out to Philmont, they're really focused, of course, on the hiking and the outdoor adventure, which is why you're here. It's why I'm here. It's an incredible, but I think at the end of the day, if you ask a lot of people who work out here at Philmont, a lot of us will agree that, you can go on some pretty cool outdoor adventures in a lot of places. But the thing that makes Philmont so specifically unique and special is just the great story and the great kind of tale of generosity and giving went into making this experience possible. And so if you have a chance to come through the villa, we know that old houses and historic house tours are not everybody's cup of tea, but it really helps to set the scene in giving you and your Scouts a much greater understanding and appreciation of what you're going to experience here on the ranch while you're participating in your program. Certainly, you can come before your trek. You can come after your trek. Hopefully, you don't come in the middle of your trek, because that means something's probably happened. But yeah, come before, come after. But I would say if you have the chance to come before you hit the trail or at the very beginning of your time at PTC, that is just going to lay the groundwork for you having all the more meaningful of an understanding of what you're doing out here and what you're experiencing. I've spoken to people who have come out here on trek and done the tour before, and people who have done the trek after. And a lot of people say, Scouts that they were with, they had a much more meaningful experience with that history lesson beforehand. And we make it fun. It's not just a dry, boring tour. We have great tour guides that make it super fun, super enjoyable, interactive. And as I always say, I spend more time in that building than literally anybody else. And even I'm still seeing and learning new things on a regular basis. So even if you've been through a million times, we'll send you out of here with something new by the end of it. But the big exciting news that we have from the villa specifically is that we are in the middle of a massive restoration project over at the Villa Philmonte, which is really giving us a pretty nice new facelift. The last time any major work was done on the building was probably, I think 20 plus years ago. And so we are, if you've been to the villa in the last couple of years, I'll be the first to admit, we've been looking a little run down outside. The inside looks great, but the outside, definitely needed some TLC. And so right now, since July, the villa's been under scaffolding. We have an awesome team of construction workers and historic preservation architects and people on site. The big thing that they're doing is they're completely stripping the latex paint off the exterior of the building that was applied sometime in the late 80s, early 90s. And so that's a huge job. They're pulling all of that off. And then once that's off, they're going to completely re-stucco the building and bring it back to its original appearance. So what you see now, that kind of painted, flat look, is not actually how the villa looked when it was built in 1927. So when it's re-stuccoed, you're going to get the authentic look, which is very exciting, and it's going to be really good for the structure of the building and everything. We'll get into all those boring details. From a historic preservation standpoint, it's very exciting. And then we're also using the opportunity to do some other touch-ups. Things like all of the decorative ironwork on the building has been removed and shipped down to Albuquerque, where it's been completely stripped and refurbished and repainted. And actually, we just got word that it's all good to go, and it's going to be brought back up here on site any day now, and we're going to start getting that reinstalled, which is very exciting. And then the last major piece is working on all of our woodwork. So there's lots of windows, doors, handrails, balconies that are all kind of looking a little worn out. So we're replacing, rotted out wood. We're repainting and refinishing all of that. And so ultimately, that's going to really make the villa pop and give it an overhaul just in time for its 100th birthday in 2027. We're doing a few minor things like, some tile work, walkway repair, some garden upgrades, things like that. But that's kind of the real brunt of it. So when you come through this summer, we're still going to be offering tours. We're still going to be doing our open houses in the afternoon where you can walk through without a tour, but expect to maybe see some ongoing construction as well. But it's all going to be worth it in the end. So, and we'll still make a great, enjoyable experience. That's mostly everything I have. I hope I didn't go too over time or anything there, but if there are any questions from anybody, I'd be more than happy to chat. Yeah.
I have a quick question. I'm going to nerd out on you here. When I was at the Villa Philmonte in August, I think they mentioned that there used to be like 2 or 3 different main entrances over time. Are they going to do with the restoration? Are they going back to the original entrance setup?
It's a really good question. So yeah, the villa is a very odd building because the common question, the most frequently asked question is where's the front door? Really, the villa had an official front door. Kind of, if you've been on a villa tour, you know the breakfast room on the main floor, that was the main entrance. And then the Phillipses moved the entrance downstairs by the garages because they were finding all their guests wanted to park their cars and then didn't want to walk all the way back around to the front door. So they kind of, used the side door as the official main entrance. But at the end of the day, the house is in the middle of the woods. So, you could really come and go as you please when you were visiting. The new quote unquote door is kind of down by the garages to bring people. So that's very exciting. So I guess that's a really roundabout way of saying there are a lot of front doors, and we're still going to continue to use a number of them, but there's no official. We're not going to go back to using the.
I spent a little time in a tent right beside the villa at the PTC this past summer. I was abusing the privilege of being able to walk all over the front yard, and there may be slightly fewer cherries on the trees out front than there were when I got there. I told everyone Rory said it was okay. I forgot to check with you before I told him that, but I did notice,
please.
I noticed that what looked like the front door, there was like some birds living in the little woodwork stuff right over that walkway. Like, I'm not sure I want to walk in and out that direction, so yeah.
Yeah, those swallows, they can be a little aggressive, but we're working on that's actually another part of our restoration is we're doing some new bird netting to hopefully get them encouraged to move elsewhere so they're not pooping and attacking people.
Right. Yeah, my hair's white enough without them adding to it.
So with the stripping of the paint and stuff, does that mean all the ivy's coming down by the garage?
It does, unfortunately. So that's actually been done thanks to the PSA, actually. Some volunteers from the PSA last year during the homecoming celebration, the PSA reunion. We had a bunch of PSA volunteers that came out and they helped us remove all of the vines from around the building. I believe our goal is we have sort of I believe it's a wisteria vine that's sort of on the inner courtyards, and we would like that to potentially come back. But certainly the Virginia creeper is actually something that's not historically accurate for the building, and it does a lot of damage to it. So we're kind of happy that it's going away. It adds a cool look, but ultimately it's doing more damage than it's worth. So yeah.
Interesting. Well, thanks so much. As things happen, please don't hesitate to reach out and let us know. I want you, Rory, to understand that you and all the people there at the museum, anytime you want to come on and tell us about something, you're welcome to. But thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to seeing, you mentioned the villa is different every time. You learn something every time you go in it. That's been my experience as well. I noticed the pictures that when I was scrolling through, the thing that always blew my mind is, and this is something I would encourage crews, if you're going to come and do a tour, if you got someone who plays piano, make sure they practice before they get there, because it blew me away. And I'll tell you, it's something that I hear from scouts later who play piano, who were allowed to play the piano in the main room of the villa. And it's like they feel like this, I'm actually allowed to touch it. I'm actually allowed to play it. So that's one of the coolest. I don't want to set an expectation everyone gets to do that, because I don't know how that works. But I would say
it's a great point. Thank you for bringing that up. It's one of the things that I think is the most special part of coming through the villa. Yeah, if you don't know how to play piano, we're not just going to let you kind of pick the keys. But if you do know how to play piano, and in my experience, I've been given the tours out here. I'll have been in this position for 4 years on January 1st. And I think every tour, I don't even want to think about how many tours I've given at this point. But every tour I've had at least one person who can play piano. So yeah, come on through, give us a little concert. And that's the most exciting thing, is having that history, having people be able to have that hands-on history, and that personal connection to it. It's pretty special. So, yeah. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Don't be shy.
Sure. Thanks so much.